Happy Monday. If you can tell, I have all these bumps. Pretty sure you can see them here. I'm not gonna stop recording to see if you can or not. But yeah, if you guys follow me on Twitter, you already know that I've had somewhat of a reaction on my face. As I had told you guys last week, my wife and I have been actively looking for a new investment property, and we were out in the mountains. And as you can see in this image here, this is what I was looking at. And I thought it would be a good idea to start walking down into the terrain and kind of just check out exactly how far the property line was for this specific property. And I do think that maybe some of the brush, plants or flowers, something out there maybe have jumped on me, and maybe that might have caused some of this reaction. I don't really know, but again, that's kind of what happened. Welcome back to Stock Talk with Eric Anthony. Happy Monday. Let's get into some exciting news regarding Abml, Polestar and Hertz, and just want to go over some price action with respect to some of our favorite companies, specifically Abml, Alpp, and Desktop Metals, which all today were just on fire. All right, well, let's get into it. Starting with big retail, nothing too exciting happening here. In my humble opinion, it seems that we are back on to being in a risk on market, and some of these high or big retail or even just value stocks in general seems not to have gotten as much love as they have been just in the past trading months. Moving on to one of our favorite sectors, the EV sector. Abml up almost 17%, and at some parts of the day it was up around 18%. Before we keep going through the list, let's just stop right there and let me get into an update that we received regarding Abml and what they just accepted. Abml accepts the challenge presented in President Biden's presidential invocation of Defense Production Act for battery materials to secure a domestic supply chain for critical and strategic battery metals through environmentally and socially responsible means, as has been deemed essential to the national security of the United States. Abml's CEO Ryan Meltzer believes that the American Battery Technology Company is primed and uniquely positioned to help support this initiative. He believes that they have the responsibility and a unique opportunity to work collectively and support the transition to a lower carbon infrastructure. While there are large amounts of battery cell and electric vehicle manufacturing capacity already under construction in the United States, the president accurately identified that there is a large void in the upstream portion of this domestic supply chain and has a significant shortage in the amount of domestic and environmentally responsible battery materials, manufacturing, and refining capacity required to feed these facilities. Now, mind you, this news came out last Friday, so the price action for Abml over the past few trading days has actually just gone up. At one part of the day, it was up closer to like 18, 19. Pretty crazy. With Abml being in the OTC market, it doesn't, in my opinion, doesn't get as much love as maybe MP or other lithium recycled based companies out there. The ABTC team has developed and is currently commercializing a first of a kind processing train for the manufacturing of battery grade lithium hydroxide from Nevada-based sedimentary claystone resources as part of the company's Tonopah Flats lithium exploration project, which is supported by its recently awarded grant from the U.S. Department of Energy Advanced Manufacturing Office in partnership with DuPont. Okay, so if you guys want a little bit more information regarding that grant that they awarded, this news came out about October of last year, so just a few months ago, but let's head into that so you guys can get just a little bit more background for anyone that's new to Abml to know exactly what that grant has to offer. The United States Advanced Battery Consortium, LLC, also known as USABC, today announced a $2 million lithium-ion recycling development program, a strategic collaboration of the development of a self-sustaining model for the recycling of large format lithium-ion batteries with American Battery Technology Company, ABTC. And remember, Abml will be ABTC. Hopefully when the uplist goes through, that ticker change will also happen, and we will no longer call them Abml, but we will call them ABTC. Okay, moving on. So beginning in October, like I had just mentioned, that contract award will include a 75% cost share by the ABTC-led project team, and that will be a project that is funded over 30 months. The program's goal is to demonstrate a scaled, fully domestic integrated processing cycle for the universal recycling of lithium-ion batteries in coordination with partners in the battery supply chain. The significance of this project is that there is a rapid growth in the insatiable demand for lithium-ion batteries that power our vehicles, stationary grid storage systems, and consumer electronics. However, while the domestic U.S. manufacturing capacities of end-use products like electric vehicles and of lithium-ion battery cells have grown rapidly in the U.S. in recent years, unfortunately, the upstream domestic production capacities of the battery metals that supplies these operations have not kept pace. And this has led to three paramount challenges. Those challenges are the security of supply, the cost of supply, and the economic impact of supply. Less than 1% of the global manufacturing capacity of each of the primary battery metals, including lithium, nickel, cobalt, and manganese, is currently within the United States. The cost of manufacturing and importing these battery metals has grown rapidly over recent years as demand has grown at a far faster pace than the new supply can enter the market. And the mining of these battery metals through conventional techniques can result in the emission of large amounts of greenhouse gases, criteria pollutants, and contaminated water and soil. ABTC is addressing all three of these challenges by developing technologies and commercializing systems for this recycling of lithium-ion batteries and the recovery of constituent battery metals, as well as for the production of battery metals directly from the primary mineral resources in the Western United States to create a closed-loop circular economy for the domestic U.S. battery manufacturing supplies. The CEO of ABTC believes that we are in an industry that too often associates or assumes that the recycling process is inherently net positive both socially and environmentally, but when it comes to mining, that those processes are both inherently socially negative and could have an environmentally negative impact in our society. Critical thought and first principle physics-based design are needed to be applied from the very early stages in the development of these types of battery metals manufacturing systems to ensure that they have a net positive social and environmental impact on the local and global communities, whether from primary or recycled resources. There are unfortunately many lithium-ion battery recycling operations in the place today that rely on polluting processing techniques, while at the same time there are many primary mining technologies that can enable the manufacturing of these battery metals with positive impacts on the local and global communities. It is through the establishment of industry benchmarks and reporting standards for both primary resources and recycled metals resources that customers and OEMs will be able to identify and prioritize the purchasing of these domestically manufactured and responsibly sourced minerals. So back in January of 2022, so just a couple months ago, well, I guess about like 6 weeks ago, they were accepted into the IRMA. The IRMA is the Initiative of Responsible Mining Assurance, and basically this is an organization that works together to set the standards for achieving a more socially and environmentally responsible route when it comes to mining. They are looking forward to working with the following members of this group, and some of those members of this group include Ford, General Motors, BMW, Daimler AG, Volkswagen, and the Microsoft Corporation. Okay, so that basically kind of sums up the articles. I will put links below to all three articles. All right, well, let's kind of get back to the price action. As you can see here, they were up actually about 18% on the day, and they were about $1.69. Now, mind you, we have been following Abml, so I kind of just, for the past couple months now, and I just want to show you a couple more updated photos with regard to the plant that they have been building out in Nevada. And just so if any of you guys don't know, the CEO helped design the Gigafactory for Tesla, and I believe, in my opinion, strategically has the plant that they're building for Abml just a few miles away out in Nevada from the Tesla Gigafactory. Check out some of these photos here to see exactly how far along they've come. We've come from just when there was a sign in the ground and it was saying construction on its way. And now look, now the whole thing's closed off. Just couldn't be happier with the progress they're making with the building of the plant. And can't wait to see once we get more updated photos from inside. But okay, that's basically all I have today on Abml. Today was a very green Monday. Anticipate a red Tuesday. When things go up as high as they do today, you always want to expect a little bit of a pullback, especially after continuously having green days in the market. So for all my ABML longs out there, I'm sure you guys are all happy about this news. I know I am personally, but let's get back to something else going on in the EV sector. As you can see, most everything in the EV sector that I follow was green today, especially Ggpi. And for any of you guys that don't know, Ggpi is Polestar, the Swedish car company. And today it was announced that Hertz will go into an agreement and purchase up to 65,000 EV cars over a span of 5 years. And that today has basically taken Ggpi, I wouldn't say parabolic, but it definitely helped move the needle with regard to the share price. The share price today was as high as 13 at some part of the trading day, and it ended around $12.82. Not too bad. And again, when things move up super fast, like I always say, stocks go up on stairs and they come down on elevators. So I always just suggest to everyone out there, be wary of how fast things can come down. I don't want to be a negative Nancy. I'd rather be prepared than surprised. So just want to be a little realistic with regard to continuous green days, especially when you get news like this. When things like this get announced, just like it was announced with Hertz and Tesla. Tesla had a huge run up, and then they showed the commercial with Tom Brady, and it ran up a little bit more, and then things kind of came setting down. So for all my Polestar investors out there, very excited to see that someone has taken on the fleet. And if anything, to me, that just shows confidence in the production assembly line that they have for the Polestar cars in general. You know, like Elon Musk said, it's very easy to prototype, but it's extremely challenging to mass produce. So when you get a deal like this that is announced between Hertz and Polestar, to me as an investor in Polestar, that just solidifies that they have the capabilities of, one, fulfilling the orders, and two, mass producing. Let's move on to some of our other favorite plays, such as Alpp. Alpp was up today just under 10%. I can't even remember the last time I've said that without something major being announced. So very excited to kind of see some of these things come into fruition for some of the stocks that we follow here on this channel. Again, we haven't got the numbers yet. Those were delayed. So I do anticipate a little bit of a pullback when those numbers come out, especially from an algorithm standpoint. Again, those are Q4 numbers with OTC, when back with the OTC days, we got to just kind of start moving forward. Personally, I'm more focused on what will happen in Q2, Q3. Once the drone deck deal that was announced kind of really comes into play, and we start seeing, hopefully we start getting some sale numbers with regard to that deal. Okay, well today, let's move into some other sectors that we follow. In our long-term plays, Chipotle up, Dutch Bros up, and Palantir. Palantir was actually up about just under 6%. So for all my Palantir longs out there, shout out to finally a consecutive few green days, because I know if you've been watching the market, every time we have a green day, it's almost always followed up with an initial pullback, and we're kind of taking 2 steps forward and like 5 steps back, but it kind of seems we're over that hump. So again, just want to bring that to your guys' attention. All right, moving into our 3D metal plays. Get it? 3D. We have Desktop Metal that was up 10%, and NNDM that was up just under 4%, and at some part of the day today was actually up much higher. Today was a sea of green, so let's not be naive that we just had a very, very good day. But at the same time, if we can acknowledge those bad days, then sometimes it's nice to celebrate those green days as well, in my opinion. Moving on into the genomics space, as you can see as well, a bunch of green. And yes, for all my bingo longs out there, bingo was definitely up today. A point of resistance that I have is in the 280s, so I'm looking to see if we can, finally cross over that, because I think once we get like past 282, 286, we might finally jump to the threes, which would be very exciting, especially for all those who've been dollar cost averaging over the past couple of years. And then moving into our final sector that we like to follow, Mount Fang, yes, also all up today. One of the main ones, as you can imagine, is Tesla, up just under 6% on the day. I'm sure by now you guys have heard, because this video will probably come out around 10 p.m. your time, but Elon Musk purchased just under 10% of Twitter and now is the highest shareholder and topping Vanguard and BlackRock. I'm hoping, as an avid Twitter user, I'm hoping that we just get less bots and less censorship and more of just an open, just an open forum of communication that we can just kind of listen and hear all sides of a story without a lot of the mess that I know some of us have seen and acknowledged when it comes to how we get some of our news and information. Let me know in the comments below if you guys think Twitter will change a little bit, or do you think that we'll just have more of the same and nothing will come of this? Okay, well, that's basically all the news I have for you guys today. Thank you so much, like always, for checking in with Stock Talk with Erik Anthony, and I'll see you mañana. Hopefully without any more red bumps on my face. But yes, see you.